Perfect. Lovely. So welcome to our event. Please ensure your name is accurate. Change that on your little Zoom icon so that we know who you are. We can tick you off our guest list. If anything goes wrong at any point with the event, if it suddenly shuts down or anything like that, don't worry, just click on the link that you've been sent and we'll restart again and we'll let you in from the waiting room. So that's no problem. For anyone who doesn't know, Heritage Network is a membership body for any community group, any social enterprise, charity, or professional heritage trusts who are reusing an old structure or a traditional building of any type, perhaps a landscape, just anything they're doing there for wider benefit. We're here to support throughout the lifetime of the project. And today we're going to hear about the new RiSE programme in Northern Ireland, which is very exciting. We're really keen to hear all about that. I know we've got some attendees from Northern Ireland and some from further afield, I think because we're all nosy and interested and want to know what's happening in Northern Ireland and what we could be doing elsewhere, but definitely the support that's available to groups in Northern Ireland, that's what we're here to talk about today. So yes, as I say, we'd love to hear about the work that you're doing, how we can best help you. So do put your introductions into the chat box, also your questions. We're going to hear from Jimmy and then we'll come on to a Q&A at the end. So we'll have plenty of time for those questions. So we will come on to those. You can put them in a chat box or you can raise your hand later on. So our event today is funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund and the Department for Communities. Thank you very much to them for their support. We couldn't do it without it. And here's a quick run through of our timings. So we're making a start, then we're going to hear from Jimmy, then we've got plenty of time for questions and discussion, and we'll wrap up. It's just a nice quick lunchtime session today. So we're not going to hang about. Jimmy Laverty is the project officer of the RiSE programme for Social Enterprise Northern Ireland. And I'm going to hand over to you, Jimmy, if you're happy.
Yep, that's great. Thank you. So good afternoon, folks. Very nice to see you. And thanks for attending today. A wee bit about me. I'm from a bit of a heritage background and then I worked for the National Lottery Heritage Fund for 8 years as an engagement manager. So I know if you're coming from a heritage background, I've probably spoke to you or I have a fair idea of what you're doing. And now I've moved over to Social Enterprise Northern Ireland and I'm running this RISE project, which is Rural Innovation and Social Enterprise. So who want to go ahead? So it's an initiative developed basically about social enterprises and strengthening them between Northern Ireland and the 6 border counties. It's getting almost €4 million from PEACEPLUS. And if you've been through the Peace programme, you know that's not easy. And it was through 4.2, Area 4.2, which is about rural regeneration and social inclusion. So that's the EU department. It's basically the EU DERA department. And also DERA in Northern Ireland and the Department of Rural Community Development in the south. Okay. It brings together a load of different partners. So essentially the main partner is Rural Action. They're the lead partner. So they're making everything work. Then we have Community Finance Ireland who are helping them with things as well. In the north of Ireland, Northern Ireland, it's Social Enterprise NI. So I'm the one that is tasked with trying to get people on board and make it worth your while. In the south, it's Irish Rural Link who are trying to do it and get people on board and make it worthwhile. And we will be trained by an organisation called the Social Enterprise Academy Scotland. And if you know anything about social enterprise or about how things are working, Scotland is about 10 years ahead of us. And well worth listening to. So they have a great social enterprise organisations over there, and their social enterprises are a lot of the time way ahead of us, but we're trying to keep up. So that's where we are. The aim of this project is create conditions which help rural communities, schools, youth organisations. I'm not going to kill you with PowerPoint because it's there, and I'm happy for Sarah to share it with you all. But what we're looking essentially is increase the capacity, through training and mentoring. So there'll be workshops, there'll be clusters, there'll be study visits. I'll go through at the very end about how much commitment it is. It is quite a bit of commitment. It's cross-border. So there'll be a lot of chance for networking and sharing experiences. And then the last strand of it, strand 3, which I'll touch on, it's about working with the schools. But initially, we're going to focus on strand 1. Okay, go ahead. So the outcomes, hopefully by 2029, we'll have 60 rural organisations engaging 120 participants, so 2 per organisation. Then we're talking about 20 youth groups in the schools element of it, with 200 young people. So hopefully develop at least 48 rural enterprises with new community services to at least 7,200 participants if you added everything up and how much it's going to cascade down. And there'll be 20 people upskilled in social enterprise training. Thank you. So as I say, 3 strands. The first strand is social enterprise leadership and development. That's a 10-month program. So we'd be hoping to kick that off about May, June time, after we went through all the expressions of interest. And that's essentially what it says in the tin. It's about developing the capacity and confidence of rural organisations, making it happen, which is the next bit of it. So strand 2. So strand 1, which I'll go into more depth in a minute, is about the social enterprises, networking, a lot of that, learning from each other. Strand 2 is very much about individual social enterprises getting skilled up. We'll be looking after you, one-to-ones and that there kind of stuff. And there's a chance of $5,000 in that as well. And then strand 3 is about the youth social enterprises. So that's youth-led, but that could be about September time before that's delivered. Okay. So strand 1 is essentially what you would be doing if you get 2 people from each organisation recruited. And we're into double figures with the expressions of interest at the minute, which is good because we want 10 from the north and 10 from the south. So there'll be a training needs analysis, a community asset audit. There'll be accredited and non-accredited training and development. So looking at your income streams. Big thing would be steps to sustainability. So looking at how you do it yourself, your organisation, do an overview of it, see where the gaps are, where you're good, where you're not so good. Leadership mentoring. There'll be business planning support as well. So you'll end up, getting a business plan, hopefully. Diversity and inclusion plan. And there will be networking residentials and there'll be study visits. So we broke it down over the 10 months. There'll sort of be 18 different activities. Okay. So if I broke them down, you'd be talking about 3 residentials, 1 in Northern Ireland, 1 in the Republic of Ireland, and 1 in Scotland. You're a 1-to-1 with each group individually. That'll be a day long and through your needs analysis. Then there'll be 3 sessions of steps to sustainability, which would be looking at your sustainability, how you do it, potential for other ways of doing it, looking at case studies, that kind of stuff. And there will also be 2 study visits. There'll be 1 in Northern Ireland and 1 in the Republic of Ireland, hopefully 1 in Scotland as well. We're just tying that one down at the minute. Okay. Strand 2 would be if you get through strand 1 successfully, then you will have an opportunity of applying for €5,000, €5,000 of social enterprise support. So that could be to do something you haven't done before. If you're already an established charity and you want to say, you want to have a go at being a social enterprise. If you're a new social enterprise and you want to divert off and do something different. So it's really, a penalty kick as such, that you can go for it. If you get the $5,000, you can develop and do what you want with it. I'm not sure at the minute how much, administration that there's going to be with it. Hopefully not too much, but that's the way that's looking. There'll also be a lot of mentoring and implementation support. So you'll be assigned a mentor and, everything will be implemented. And there'll also be networking and cluster events and residential. So learning from each other. I guess the big thing is it's a superb networking opportunity to see what's working successfully in the Republic of Ireland and then looking at what's working successfully in Northern Ireland, and also a chance to spread what you're doing, in the different jurisdictions. Okay. It's expected the third one, the youth-led one, the schools one. Now, it hasn't been completely finished off yet, but what it is support young people from 14 to 25 and a social and environmental issue they want to solve. So if any of you have kids, that they're very clued in these days as regards social aspects and environmental, that they can create a social enterprise to make change happen. Hopefully we're aiming for 20 schools and youth organisations over the project period. And it'll be delivered across the academic year with a Dragon's Den style event on a cross-border basis, which is a superb opportunity for the schools. Okay. Eligible areas within Northern Ireland, located in a settlement size of 5,000 or less. Now, There's been a few questions about that already, but if, say, you're working in a bigger town than that, but a lot of the people you work with are rural, that put in an expression of interest. Okay, within the border counties, it's the 6 border counties. So Cavan, Donegal, Leitrim, Louth, Monaghan, Sligo, and it's 10,000 or less, 10,000 population or less. Okay. Types of organisations that can apply: a registered charity, a CIC, a company limited by guarantee, a constituted group, or a cooperative. So we're just going through eligibility at the minute with the ones that we have in so far, and we'll tidy that up a bit if we need to, but at the minute they cross all them different groups. Okay. Eligibility criteria. So you meet the definition of a social enterprise, you're a bona fide group. So basically the organisation criteria with a governing document, bank account, and the name of the organisation, 2 unrelated signatories, really common sense stuff. A management committee to engage in this. The big issue might be, how much commitment you can give to it. Identify at least 2 core participants. So this could be an opportunity for like a larger charity or something to send people to get skilled up, to send committee members, to get more engaged in it. But you also have to have a consent and commitment from your management committee to support any identified staff or volunteer engagement. So it is quite a commitment, but it will be really worth it. Okay. And how to apply. So basically, you go through Rural Action, who are the lead partner. The completed forms will all be finished up. The deadline is the 27th of March. Then there will be a steering committee pulled together to look at all the expressions of interest and go back to them. Now, the good thing is there will be 3 cohorts of this. This cohort is open until the 27th of March, but the next one will be opening in June. So as far as I'm aware, well, I was told yesterday. So there is great opportunity in it. Look, there's a lot of peace programs about at the minute. I wouldn't be parroting on about this one unless I came and took the job and thought it was worthwhile, because it is an opportunity to step outside, applying for grants all the time, because we know how tight it is at the minute. And it is a really good opportunity for rural areas to get themselves skilled up. Okay. And that's that. Thank you, Sarah. So a bit quicker than you probably thought, but
Brilliant.
Happy enough. So I'm happy to take any questions or anything like that. Feel free.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Jimmy. There was so much in that, and you've answered some of the questions that I had for sure already. One of the things that's occurring to me is, would you encourage people to kind of give you a call, get in touch if they're not sure, if they want to find out more details, if it's a good fit for them, or is it just the expression of interest?
I'm more than happy to talk to people. You know what I mean? And have a chat with them if they want to drop me an email. I know I've been in touch with some of the councils. I'll be in touch with all the councils and all the rural support networks in Northern Ireland as well. But yeah, if you have any queries about the EOI or anything like that, give me a shout. I'm happy to have a quick chat with you online or a phone call. More than happy to do that.
Fantastic. I mean, is there anything jumping out at you as people who really wouldn't be eligible? I think the eligibility criteria you've shared there is super helpful, but is there any groups that you're thinking, no, that wouldn't be for them?
Well, big groups and big urban groups, obviously, you know what I mean? It is dedicated to rural. The thing that's different from this programme as regards a lot of other peace programmes is this is right across Northern Ireland. A lot of people have this idea of the peace programme is just the border areas, but this is open to the 6 counties of Northern Ireland. So Ballycastle, Coleraine, right the way around, as long as you're rural, if you're thinking, oh, well, we're in a town that is over 5,000 people, have a chat with me. I'll think of something way around it, or something that you're working with rural people. Don't worry.
Jimmy's your man. That sounds fantastic. I mean, I have to say, I do love the idea of all these networking residentials, and the study visits sounds so helpful. Yeah. In Scotland, there is funding available for groups just to go and visit others for a couple of days, because even just that cost of traveling across the country and accommodation, we all know amongst your kind of board of trustees and your volunteers, if a few of you want to go, that soon adds up. So that sounds really helpful.
Yeah. So an example of that would be there is a group that's applied that has a very good chance of getting over the line. Mm-hmm. And they work with people with disabilities, and it's successful what they do, but they want to get into the Republic of Ireland. So they see this as a great networking opportunity, an opportunity to do that. And should they get through the EOI and through the first bit of the programme, to have, an opportunity to go for £5,000 to try that, is brilliant. It's a no-brainer for them. And it'll also identify gaps where maybe they haven't thought of, because you're putting a fresh pair of eyes on it, and I think that's very helpful as well.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got a question here. Are there restrictions regarding the group's turnover?
No, Rosemary, there's not. There's not at the minute, anyway, as far as I'm aware. But that's something we're doing up in FAQs. We actually have an FAQs at the minute, so I'll forward that to you, Sarah, if you want to send that round the participants as well. But Rosemary, no problem. If you want to have a chat with me or anything, give me a shout and I can walk you through it. But at the minute, no. There, as far as I know there's no restrictions on turnover.
I'm actually one of the councils.
Brilliant.
And so apologies, my camera's not working at the moment. So, but we're part of Heritage Places.
Yes.
So we are. I'm just quite interested to see how RiSE will actually fit in, along with that within our area. So it might be useful, Jimmy. I give you a shout if Sarah would circulate your email address. That might be useful.
No problem. And if you want me to take a shoot down to you, Rosemary, to have a talk through things, no problem at all, because we've had a couple. You're Armagh Council, is it Armagh, Bonbridge, Craigavon? Yep.
That's correct, yeah.
You're a council that especially, has had a couple in. You'll probably know them, but I can't say.
Of course.
I'll come down if you want to drop me an email, Sarah. If you share the information, I'll come down and have a chat with you, no problem.
I think it'd be really useful, Jimmy, just particularly where we are at the moment. We're finalising our strategy, and we're getting ready to sort of roll things out. So, and I definitely see the links with ourselves and yourselves. So I think that would be helpful.
No problem at all, Rosemary. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Yes, I can see a lot of us, I think, will be pointing people your way, Jimmy, that's for sure. Are you happy for me just to put your email address in the chat box now, Jimmy?
Absolutely. That'd be brilliant, because I'm actually, if Rosemary's still there, I'm actually in Portadown on Friday morning, so I could shoot out round Friday if you're available, Rosemary, but see what suits you.
I'll have a look at my diary and come back to you if that's all right.
Brilliant. Yep. But look, if there's any questions or anything, the thing I would worry about a wee bit is maybe people thinking, this is a huge commitment, but look, it could be a game changer for your organisation, because just the way I was chair of the Funders Forum in Northern Ireland, it's so difficult at the minute applying for grants. It's so competitive with the cost of living and everything. Grant makers are massively oversubscribed. More and more people are looking towards social enterprise as an income generator. And there are some fantastic examples. I'll give you an example. You maybe know them, Rosemary, actually, just when you're there. The Bolster community in Newry, who have moved from 75% grant funded to 20% by way of candles, making candles and selling candles, believe it or not. And they work with people with disabilities, and they have a great contract with the Southern Trust, and it has went through the roof and really helped them no end. So they're award-winning social enterprise in Northern Ireland. And even if they're in the study visits that we do for people to learn about their journey and things like that and their commitment to it and how it worked, is a great example. You learn, that's one thing, and you can apply it to your own organisation.
That sounds brilliant. We'll have to look at that out as a case study. I certainly know the amount that people charge for candles these days. It's far more of a working business than it would have been previously, for sure. Brilliant. So we've got a question from Julie there asking about a men's shed. Would a men's shed benefit?
Absolutely. Yes, completely, Julie. We'd be delighted, for a men's shed to come in. I don't think there's been any in at the minute. So I think it would be very beneficial for a men's shed. Men's sheds, by their nature, are brilliant anyway, and they're a lifesaver for a lot of people. But I think it would be brilliant to get an expression interest in from a men's shed. And if you want to have a chat with me, no problem at all. Give me a shout. Drop me an email. I'm more than happy to have a conversation.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Anybody else got a question or a query? I know we're rattling.
Yes, I had.
Go for it.
Hello. You mentioned there that you had 3 cohorts, March, June. Do you have the 3rd date already?
We don't at the minute, because we're running at the 2029. So what I would obviously like to do is have a good cohort, a good strong first cohort that will get, good, strong second and thirds. But, look, if I would put an expression, so you're at Glebe House down at Strangford yourself, Alison.
Yes,
I know
yeah,
it well.
yeah.
I'm just up near Castlewellan, so I know you as well. But
Mhm.
yes, look, I would put in an expression of interest. One thing about it is we'll come back to you. I'll make sure there's a steering group that decides all this. But, I would try and get as much feedback as I could. And if you want a conversation about it, I'm happy to talk to you as well. Drop me an email and I can set up a wee Teams with yourself.
Yes, brilliant. Because we're going through another process at the moment, so I just don't know if there'd be time for both.
No, look,
Sally's here too.
if you're committing to one, and look, the place is slammed with peace programs at the minute, so we're all going to the same people. Like as I was saying to Sarah earlier on, I think Fermanagh has something like 13 different peace programs. So I wouldn't be recommending to groups if they didn't have the time, but also, that they would have, that they could commit to it. But if there was another one that was more your perspective, go for it. I don't want people to commit to it and then say, look, I wanted to do it, but I hadn't the time. But look, through Social Enterprise Northern Ireland, we're happy to have a chat with you as well if you need help as regards social enterprise stuff. Because believe it or not, the social enterprise sector in Northern Ireland is worth almost £1 billion. So there's lots. We have a directory online. We're coming out with a new strategy now in the next few months. So it's a good time to be looking at social enterprise, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
No problem.
Fantastic. And I know Charlotte's put a question in the chat box there. Just for these conversations that you're going to be having with people, Jimmy, is there anything in particular that you think they should be kind of preparing or thinking about in advance before they come and chat to you?
I would have an idea. I would try and have an idea about a potential social enterprise you want to run. If you're thinking, look, it's candle making, or it's working with particular subsections of people, or that there kind of stuff. If you have an idea, because that's where you want to kick off from. Your idea might change during the journey of this here, and it might, you might veer off into something else completely. But it is definitely, if you had an idea, if you're a bigger charity with an idea, if you're a smaller charity wanting to expand what you're doing, if I look at the rural social enterprise winner from last year in Northern Ireland, it was an organisation in Armagh actually. Them. The lady from Armagh will know them. Rich Rural Community Association, who were taking the byproducts of making cider and making them into protein supplements. So all the apple cores and all the apple skins, and they were our Rural Social Enterprise of the Year last year. So it's about thinking outside the box a wee bit. So things like that are definitely very good and very useful. So I would say, have a go. Rosemary, sorry. Yeah, I would say have an idea to go with at the start, and give me a shout if you're unsure about it.
Fantastic. And I'm conscious, I mean, Sarah, go next with your question. So you raise your hand. If you just unmute, Sarah.
There we are. It was about meeting the definition of a social enterprise. We are a registered charity and we are looking at social enterprise type activities, but to supplement our charitable objectives. We've discussed whether we want to turn into a social enterprise, and we don't. We want to remain a charity with charitable objectives, but supplementing that. So I don't know if we would meet the legal definition of a social enterprise.
I would put in an expression of interest anyway, Sarah, because lots of charities have social enterprises. They're not social enterprises per se, but they have, a enterprise arm, and that's fine for you to apply, because I would recommend any charity has some sort of social enterprise element of it. Like the Bolster community, for example, that I mentioned, they're still a charity. They have the social enterprise has turned them around, but they still apply for grants. Only not as many. They don't have to apply for as many. So yes, you're more than welcome to apply.
Thank you.
No problem.
I know it was quite some time ago that here at Heritage Network, we just started to consider that essentially every group that we work with is some form of social enterprise.
Exactly.
They are generating income. They are, making money. They're operating. They're covering their costs. But most of them wouldn't think of themselves as that. They wouldn't have that term in their mind.
Exactly.
And I'm conscious with this level of funding that we're talking about here, Jimmy, I mean, it's 4 million euros is a lot. Is it just yourself as the member of staff who's core working on this? Are there other team members who are helping to deliver it as well? Are you?
Well, if anybody has any experience of the Peace Programme, they'll know there's a lot of staff. So the majority of the money is towards the actual project itself, but there are about 3 to 4 in rural action working on it, and there's a couple in Irish Rural Link working on it. I think there's about 8 staff overall over the 4 years working on this, permanently. So, you'll be well supported is one thing I would say, across the 4 years, anybody that is engaged, but, you're not committed to 4 years, you're committed to, a 10-month at the start. And then if you want to come for the second bit, a 10-month. Now we do expect, maybe 1 or 2 dropouts. That's the nature of the beast, but yes, there's enough people there to see you right, put it like that. And between that and, Social Academy, Enterprise Academy Scotland and what they're doing, I think the benefits of learning from them, and they're probably 10 years ahead, is really, really useful for groups.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's really helpful to know that there's a kind of really firm basis there of lots of people involved. You'll talk about the Scotland Social Enterprise kind of network, maybe think about the social enterprise support map that we have in Scotland, and there's something like 116 organisations that are noted as being across Scotland that are involved specifically in social enterprises and supporting them. So there's a lot of external support and advice and experience there to help, which is great. Fantastic. Anybody got anything that they wanted to ask while we're still here? Lovely. I think that's really exciting, Jimmy. It's lovely to see. I love the idea of the Dragon's Den. Oh yes, one thing that just occurred to me was that your definition of the young people of 14 to 25. Do you know what process you kind of went through in order to get that age range?
No, being straight with you, and I'm not going to pretend to do, because Rural Action are the lead partner and they're the ones that they'll be leading on that. But obviously it'll be filtered down to me over the summer. But no, I don't, to be honest. The application I had a look at, which is 180 pages long. So this is peace funding. If anybody's been involved with it, the crack. So there's a lot of different strands within peace funding, but I don't know an awful lot about it yet. But we'll be going into meetings and briefings on that there kind of stuff. It's very much being aimed at schools and at the likes of youth clubs and groups like that.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love the idea of the Dragon's Den. It sounds.
Yeah, we actually we had a Dragon's Den at our conference last week, in our Social Enterprise Northern Ireland conference up in St. Colin's Hall in Derry. And we had 5 presenting for the Dragon's Den, with the winner walking away with $3,000 for a 3-minute pitch, which was brilliant. And it was a hairdressing, an organisation that was set up to help with people that were uncomfortable, that had autism, that didn't want to get their hair cut, which sounds very simple, but the difference they're making was huge, and it's a social enterprise, and it's in Downpatrick, and it's flying, so it's great to see. It's great to be able to give someone that amount of money to just go and spend it how they see fit.
Yeah, and it just shows you these ideas that you have that you maybe think are a bit off the wall. Well, actually, if there's a demand for them, if people are interested, then you might have a business there, which is really exciting. Really exciting.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Lovely. Anything that anybody came to say that they haven't had a chance to share? Jimmy, anything you wanted to share with us that you haven't had a chance yet?
No, just I'm happy for you to give out my details. I will forward you on a wee overview and an FAQs that we've done up, and you send that to the people, no problem at all. And if anyone on the online here or whatever wants to drop me a wee email, drop me an email. I'll come back to you and get set up and have a wee chat with you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thank you for attending today, everybody. We'll cut it short and give you a bit of lunchtime back. We've got a little feedback form. If you could click on that now and fill it in, it should take you 1 minute, and we'd really appreciate that. We can feedback to our funders at the National Lottery Heritage Fund and the Department for Communities. Thank you very much to them for helping us to run this event today. And we'll be in touch with you all soon, probably about our next Northern Ireland events, to let you know what we're up to. We'll do some in-person ones in the summer, I'm sure. So thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time, I hope.
Thanks very much, folks. All the best.
Thank you.